Okay, so with the polar vortex closing in around us here and we're in the single digits, all the bees are buttoned up, and what do I like to do this time of year? I like to review products. And this week I came across this frame gripper called the Mule Grip, and it's really interesting because if you notice, it has these levers down at the bottom that compound your grip strength, and it has this locking slide. There are several versions of this available. This is the largest one and the one with this locking slide, so that once you clamp it onto a frame, you can lock it and leave it there. So, and it's also a nice big handle there. This is something that you can wash down. It is all stainless steel, non-magnetic, so I'm thinking 300 series stainless here. The grip handles are exactly 5 inches long. They're nicely ribbed so you can hang on to them even if your hands get sticky there with honey and whatever. And look at how this compounds your grip. For those who have problems gripping, especially as they get into retirement and they're older and maybe they've got some arthritis in their hands, this is going to be the frame grip that works the best. And it has a little notch there for the plastic frames, and it's deep set for the wood frames. And I'm going to go over some frame designs and styles later on in this video. Here it is in a locked position, and just takes the load off your hands. Look at that. Loosen it up, there's a spring that pulls it back open, and you're back in the open position so you can grab more frames. I like this thing a lot. Now I'm going to show you how it works. We'll go over some dimensions, of course. First, it's 6 inches tall. As I've already said, the handle is exactly 5 inches long. Now we have different frame styles here. All the way to the left, it's a black Acorn frame, and it has honeycomb on it. Second frame is that large, oversized flow frame that this clamp will not work on, so you're just going to go back to your Hive tool there. Wooden frame, foundationless. White plastic, Acorn frame, black plastic, and then the green, which is the drone frame. We'll go over that too. Now these are frames that I carry around with me because I teach about bees and I give presentations to preschoolers and bee groups and things like that. So this stuff has been in the comb for a long time. What we're looking at here, all the way to the left, capped honey. Then we've got some granulated honey in open cells, and we've also got that amber colored stuff, which is of course pollen stored. And you can see the granules here. Again, this thing has been through lots of freezing and thawing spells, and it's been chewed away here by a mouse to top it all off. And lots of open cells. But anyway, I like the black frames because I can do photography. If it's a brood section, I'll be able to see the eggs better. You will too. So it's just a matter of color. And I like Acorn over Purgo now because it doesn't flex or twist or bow, and it comes heavy waxed. Now this, of course, flow frame. This is not what this video is about, but I thought since it's here, I'd just show you a size comparison with the other frames. Flow frames are thicker than any other bee frames. On the end, they have that clear plastic. They have those large cells that are designed to open and close to drain the honey, but this frame gripper is not going to work on this. So you're back to your Hive tool, and I just wanted to show you what the comparison was. Now this is a wooden frame. This is foundationless. There's no wires going through it or anything else. What I do is I just run a strip of wax along the top bar and then let the bees draw it out themselves. So I'll put an empty frame in between two full frames, and that way the bees will pull it out easier. We're looking at the unfinished bottom edge there, and then you can see on the sides here where they connect it with wax right to that wooden frame, and that stabilizes it as they go down. Ultimately, if I hadn't pulled this one out, they would have just finished it off and it would have connected all the way around with some breathing and passage holes through it. Top right here, nice and sealed, concave, that is capped honey. You can also again see remnants of pollen. And you can also see how dark it is that they have used this for brood, and it's worker brood. You don't see any of the large cells that are associated with drones on this. So that's a wooden frame. And this gripper also works on that, which I'll show you in a minute. Now we're back to the Acorn heavy waxed frames, which my bees really build out fast. And it's just white. No difference between that and the black one other than the color itself. Some people just like the look of a white frame in their hive. They work, they're great, and I love the Acorn company because they offer 3 levels of waxing on the frames, and the more wax that's on it, the quicker the bees use it. So again, that would be for food or brood. Now we have the green frame. This is also by Acorn. It's also heavy waxed. Why would we have a brood frame by itself? It's distinctive, it's green, the cells are large, and this is just for growing drones. Drone cells are larger than regular brood, and it'll be green, so it'll stand out and you know which ones they are. Some people use this to pull out the drones once they're capped, and they're using that as a method of control for Varroa destructor, because once the Varroa are in the cells with the developing pupa, then they stay in there, and that's the time to get rid of them. I uncap them and I pull them out to look for Varroa themselves. Now we're back to a black acorn frame. Nothing but honey on this, and most of it's capped, and again a mouse chewed the bottom there. And this is a close-up look of how it's sealed up, and you can even see little beads of honey on the surface there. Again, these frames have been sitting around like this for years now, and I just use them as teaching tools, but I thought it would be a great time to introduce them while I'm testing out this frame puller. Now you can see that little narrow opening there, that's for the plastic. So all you do is line it up, get that top back bar. And one thing I like about this, look how the tips cut into the wax. If you've ever been pulling honey frames before, sometimes you use your hive tool, of course, to get in there, and when you cut into it with your hive tool or you grip your fingers in there, inevitably the wax is going to drip out and leak all over. The way this is, it's minimally interrupting the wax caps there, and this is a honey frame. So if you're pulling that stuff, I like this as a method. Now the other thing is there's lots of frame pullers out there, but this one actually compounds your grip strength. So I like it for that, and I like it for the fact that it's not leaking honey everywhere when it grips the frame, and it's designed specifically for the thickness of these plastic backs of these plastic frames. And of course there's again the locking nut there, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Twist it to the right to snug it and hold its position, twist it to the left to release it and open it again. So you can do a lot of movement here, and once it's closed you can leave it on the frame and hang it somewhere while you're doing your inspections, or you can of course release it and use it on several other frames. But this tool is very versatile. They come in several different designs. I personally like this one the most because it has the groove for plastic. It also has the deep shoulders there for the wooden frames. So if you're organizing a hive, pulling bees, whatever you're doing, look how this thing fits right between the frames. This is super handy. So I like it. Now let's go ahead. I'm going to show you now. Here's the wooden frame, and that's of course the thickest back. Now look at this. Because of this compound grip strength, instead of running it all the way down to the edge to interrupt the comb, I can just grip right into the wood. This thing holds tight. See how the little ends there have stuck on, and then I can tighten it up with that and it's not going to fall. So I don't have to go down on a wood frame and interrupt the capped wax on honeycomb. Of course you can, and I think that's the design of it. I'm pretty sure the manufacturer didn't want me to cut into the frame like that, but you have that option. Go all the way down, grip it at full height, or just dig into it there and you get the wood. Now here's the other thing. I'm a photographer, so sometimes I pull a frame and I want to get pictures of stuff. I can flip this thing over and use the handle as an exhibition stand. So I can actually, as a teaching tool, sit that on a table, and then everybody gets to look at it and you can get your hands off it and it'll hold up. And hopefully it's not windy. It would certainly blow over. But you can prop up a frame like this and photograph or video bees hatching out, anything you need to do. Macro close-ups of the eggs from the queen and everything. Now look, even with all the frames pushed together, the jaws of this gripper actually go right down in between. You're still going to have to use your hive tool to pry these up on the ends the way you normally do. But this thing gets in there nice. I have to say, if I'm giving it a star rating out of 4 stars, it's 4 out of 4, 5 out of 5, whatever the maximum rating is, this is it. Look down in the video description for where to get one. Thanks for watching.